With me in the hot seat is Racine Mayor Cory Mason. I have some things I added to your list.
Okay.
But, yeah, and we asked people to send in their questions. Let me see if anybody's sent it in yet. Ooh, I think we have some. Let me just check here. Yep, we got some. All right. Anyway, let's do with the 3 new alders entering the, including one that I think lives 2 blocks from here on Victory Avenue.
Yeah, I think I believe that's Alder DeMarc. Who lives
he lives right here. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. He works for the school district.
Right in front of the orange barrels.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
That's right. So Rocco DeMarc is a new alder. Allison Weiss is a new alder, and Brittany Hodges is a new alder. All 3 of them beat incumbents. So it was well,
except DeMarc was not an incumbent.
All 3 of them beat incumbents.
Oh, beat incumbents.
Yeah,
I have trouble hearing because
no worries.
The power went out.
And then and there were 2 incumbents who ran again, and they both or 3 incumbents who ran again. They'll all return. It's David Mack and Sam Pete and it's flickering and Marlo Harmon, who are returning to the council. Sorry, can't tell over the radio, but lights are flickering here in the studio. So
I think it's because the generator went off.
All right, so let's hope that keeps us going.
I think we're on real power now. I don't know.
But congratulations to those new alders, and look forward to serving with them. Congratulations to the returning alders who won their election, and so it'll be good to serve with them.
So how much time does it actually take out of your life to be an alder? It's not a full-time job.
It's not a full-time job, but it is. I mean, I think they get paid like $6,000 a year. If you actually broke it down by the hours they put on and gave them an hourly wage, I think it would be like less than $1 an hour. So they all serve on
like radio.
Yeah, right. They all serve on 2 or 3, committees, and so council meets twice a month, but then the committees meet 3 or 4 times a month that they're on. So that's just sort of the night meetings that you have to go to. But then there's the constituent calls that you get, or the projects that you might want to work on. Like I'm working with Alder Mack right now on putting in a new playground at Lakeview Park.
Yes, right? We talked about it. He was in here yesterday.
Yeah, so it's a project that he's excited about and taking on. And so, that's in his initiative, working with me and our administration to make that happen. He doesn't have to do that, but it's something he cares about in his neighborhood. So he's putting time into it, right? So, if alders wanted to, they could spend 40 hours a week on that work. Most of them have jobs and other things going on that make it difficult, but they all put the time in. I mean, it's a lot of work. And then, there's constituents who call and say, what about this? And what about this? And
forget calling. Right. They'll catch you in the supermarket and grab you and then say, hey, come here. I got to tell you about a pothole I got in front of my house.
Absolutely.
And my neighbor's noisy. And, it's that kind of stuff. And so I wouldn't want that. I just couldn't deal with that. People grabbing me and say, hey, why didn't you fix this?
It's a public facing position. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is the gig. And so, they have to learn the budget process and how that all comes into play this fall. But it's a great way to serve your community though. So it's great to have the returning alders come back, and we're excited to welcome the new ones that'll begin serving. So that begins anew, and they were sworn in just last Tuesday.
Yeah. So I saw David Mack posted the pictures online. No Mow May.
Yeah.
Now, my wife is big on this.
Yeah.
I just got a brand new lawnmower the other day. I still can't test it out because it's raining.
Right.
And there's a patch in our backyard with tons of those little things on the lawn the bees love. I forget what they call them. But they love them.
Yeah.
So we mow around that.
Yeah.
And we leave it for them in the backyard. Front yard, they'll have to go to the backyard.
Right.
I'm not leaving it in the front yard. In the backyard. And I see the bees there all the time. Yeah. So we leave it. And as May goes on, we get a little bit smaller.
Sure.
And then June comes, it's gone.
Yeah.
But it's important for the bees.
It is. So people don't realize, I didn't realize till this sort of came to my attention, that you need bees and butterflies and what are called the pollinators to make our food, right? It's a really important thing. And with the changing environment that's out there, there's fewer and fewer spaces to do that. So there's been a move afoot across many cities in this country, including ours, to do something called No Mow May. Which is basically like, hey, if you didn't mow your lawn in May, it would let those other plants that pollinators need an opportunity to pollinate those plants and survive and thrive. So we look to do that. The challenge is we also have people who have abandoned properties and tall weeds and grass who don't keep up with their properties. And under the ordinance, once your lawn gets more than 4 inches long, you get a ticket for non-compliance with keeping the yard up. So for the month of May, the way it works is you go down to City Hall, you fill out a form, we give you a free yard sign that you can plop in the front yard there, and you won't get ticketed for the month of May to be able to do that. It's a great education opportunity with kids about pollinators and what's going on. But Don, you said something that's sort of interesting too, and a couple people learned this the first year they did no mow May. We've had a really wet spring, right? So if you don't mow at all until June 1st, you might find yourself with more than your lawnmower can handle. So if people want to do it for 2 weeks, or in your case, do part of the yard and not all of the yard, there's still benefits to be had for those pollinators to be able to do that. But if you want your yard to get longer than 4 inches and don't want to be misidentified as an identified or as a blighted property, the way to do that is come down to City Hall, get one of those yard signs, let people in City Hall know, hey, this is a no mow May yard, and you plop the yard sign right in the front yard. No charge for it. It's just a way for us to create space for those pollinators, and it helps out with the stormwater utility as well.
And you have to do it. The honeybees need this kind of stuff.
You do.
And this is how the circle of life happens.
It is. And again, bees don't just make honey, right? They pollinate all the plants that create the food to be able to do that. So if we don't have pollinators, it actually has a pretty severe impact on the food supply here in the country. So it seems like a small thing, but it's a way to act locally but still have a big impact across the country.
And before people, they didn't have to worry about it.
That's right.
They just went ahead and I noticed the bees right now. I was sitting on my porch yesterday with my neighbor, and the bees are out already.
Yeah.
And I felt like saying, the backyard. There's plenty back there.
Right.
There's nothing for you here on the porch. Nothing.
That's right.
So that's good. No mow May. And again, you don't have to do the whole backyard. Just a circle.
Right.
Leave them something back there. That's pretty good.
And you don't have to do it for the whole month of May, too. If you want to do it for 2 weeks or 3, or you get to a place where it's like, oh my gosh, the grass is getting really long. I think this is, you can cut it early. I think some people are like, if they do it, that means they're not allowed to cut for the whole month of May. Like if you want to do it for, a certain period of time till, you think your lawnmower can handle it, that's fine too. We just want to give people the space to do that. And again, it's a great education opportunity to talk about pollinators and for people to participate in a really positive program.
Before I got my new lawnmower the other day, I was thinking of blacktopping the entire backyard and front yard. I didn't have to worry about it. Do what they do in Arizona. They just put gravel in the front yard.
Do it.
So you don't have to mow anymore. We're talking to Racine Mayor Cory Mason, and we got some questions from some listeners. Let's see what they say here.
Sure.
Talking about no mow May as we were. Somebody said mow April but not May. Thought there was a $25 fee.
And so when we first launched it, there was a fee associated with it. We dropped the fee. We just really want to encourage people to participate in it. It's pretty nominal to print the signs and alert the enforcement division not to enforce when they've got the list to do that. So there is no fee if people want to participate. It's a really good question. The first year there was, but we've found a way with a source of funds to pay for it without having to charge residents a fee. So if you want to participate in it, you do need to sign up. You do need to go get that yard sign down at City Hall in the clerk's office, but there's no fee to participate.
Okay, good. For the mayor, what is going on with the buildings on Racine Street and 16th Street? The buildings are on both sides of 6th Street, right on the Root River. Thank you from Pat. You know what the question means?
On Racine Street and 16th Street?
It says on Racine Street and 6th Street.
And 6th Street. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So those are in tax foreclosure right now. There's a proposal for the city has voted to acquire those properties from the county, and it's in the county board's court right now. We're hoping they will facilitate the transfer of that land to the city for redevelopment at some point. But it's the old, it was once a Western Publishing building, then it was the Real School for a time, then it was Gospel Lighthouse. There was a developer that was supposedly going to do something with it when Foxconn was here, and then it fell into disrepair. And it's the building, if you go over the bridge, there's big empty windows that are there. Yeah. The building's probably going to need to be demolished to be able to do it, but it's an important redevelopment corridor right there on the river. So we're hoping to have a successful partnership with the county in that regard.
Anything going on with the Y? The YMCA building?
The Lake Avenue Y site? Cause several Y sites in the downtown.
Yeah, I know that.
But yeah, we're trying to mass out like how much development you could do on that space. And so we're hoping to have a request for qualified proposals later this summer on what it would look like. We're still looking at the grade and the slope, and it gets a little bit tricky when you get close to the lakefront. So we got to make sure we've got everything figured out with the DNR before we post it. But it's an exciting site. A
drive-in movie theater.
Yeah, it would be great if people still did those, I mean, it's sort of when our kids were really little, we took them to the one that was still down in Kenosha.
I had the biggest one by me. Yeah, you're talking about the Keno drive-in. Yeah, I've been to the Keno. Yeah.
And it's long gone, right? I mean, I sort of feel like, wow, that was sort of a bygone thing we got to share with the kids while it was still there.
The drive-in movie theater by me was called the Johnny Allweather. This is in New York on Long Island. And it had room for 2,500 cars. Yeah. It was the biggest in America at the time. They had an indoor theater in the center of the drive-in,
Wow.
with over 1,500 seats. So if it rained, you can go inside. The picture inside was always shown 25 minutes after the outdoor movie. So it gave you time to get in.
Smart.
And you wouldn't miss a scene.
Smart.
And they also had a rooftop theater on top of the indoor theater. You can sit on the roof. They had about 200-300 seats up there. So you can just sit there under the stars and watch the movie on the big drive-in screen.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore.
They don't make them at all.
Now people just look at their phones, right? It's like, who needs a drive-through? I just look at it on my phone.
Isn't that sad? Yeah. I still love the movies in theaters. Okay, let's talk about the sump pump problem, sump pump program.
So if you've, particularly if you've experienced some flooding in the last, we have a lot of houses that have floor drains that go right in to the sanitary system and then overwhelm the wastewater facility through something called infiltration and inflow. It's a fancy engineered term, but the bottom line is we need to get that out of that system. And so we have to get our wastewater utility into better compliance with reducing infiltration and inflow. And it turns out that one of the best ways and most cost-effective way to do that is to install a sump pump into people's basements. So if you've been experiencing flooding in your basement and you don't have a sump pump and you think that would be helpful, we have a grant program, so it's free of charge to city residents if they want to participate in that. If they're interested, they can call the city clerk's office or the Department of Customer Service, and we'd be happy to walk you through the application process and get you a sump pump installed into your basement free of charge. And it really helps keep pollution out of Lake Michigan at the same time. So it helps prevent the flooding in the basements and improves water quality for Lake Michigan.
When I lived in Brown Deer, we had such a heavy rain one day. The interstate was underwater, I-43, and there were cars below the water. And you see the bubbling up of oil and gas. And my house in the neighborhood was the lowest house. So, of course, all the water pool. So my sump pump on that morning couldn't keep up with it. The water was coming into the basement. I ran out to Menards. As soon as they opened at 7 o'clock, I ran right to the sump pump area, beat everybody because I knew where it was. I got another sump pump, ran home, stuck it in the hole with the other one, ran the hose out. I said to my daughter, bring it out to the street. And I just cut the screen on the window. And it's scary when it's coming in and you can't do it. And I had 2 sump pumps running.
That's great.
You could barely keep up with it.
That's great. Yeah, but some people most houses in Racine have no sump pump. And so, again, it's a great way to keep that basement flooding out of the wastewater system. It helps protect Lake Michigan and helps keep your basement dry. So, again, it's part of the utility fees that you already pay. So if that's something that's of interest to people and you live in the city of Racine and you like to have an opportunity to do that, we'd be happy to help you out with that.
Let's talk about the elections. We're always hearing they're rigged, they're not safe. Are they safe in Racine?
They are. They are free and fair. Clerk's office does a really good job of making sure that we do it. And, we do allow poll observers to come in and watch it. We often get people who come in from out of town or from out of state who will, they've heard that there's all these things amiss happening and they go into the poll areas and they watch it. And, a lot of them walk away and say, like, there's nothing going on here. They're just counting the ballots. There's nothing untowards here. I think that there is a dangerous thing that's happening in our democracy right now where people don't like how, if your team didn't win, there's this belief that, well, it must have been rigged or something must have gone amiss. I will say, we're celebrating America's 250th birthday. We're the longest existing constitutional democracy in the world right now. The way democracies flourish is you have to accept the results of the people's decision, right? And sometimes it doesn't go your way. But for democracy to persist and for us to believe in the rule of law and democracy, you have to sometimes accept that sometimes my preferred candidate wins and sometimes they don't. And so it's really important to accept the results of that and not buy into a this must have been rigged sort of thing. It's really important that people participate in their democracy. And one of the things that we hope to do in this 250th year is to re-inspire people to participate in that way. But part of that is by assuring them that it is free and it is fair and your vote will count and that nothing's being rigged and, there's not anything going on. We just had a trial a couple of weeks ago, this Harry Waite trial, who'd stolen my ballot a couple of years ago. He was convicted of doing it because he was so convinced that there was election conspiracy happening. To prove his point, he stole my ballot and Robin Voss's ballot to prove that he could. And the jury found him guilty. He's like, look, you can't do that. And, you thinking there's a conspiracy somewhere else isn't validated by you committing the very crime that you imagine is happening in some other places. So it's really important that we take a deep breath in our democracy and look, I know it can get competitive and it's a really divided time in American politics right now. But if you love America and you love democracy, part of it is acknowledging that when voters choose somebody else, you have to accept that and know that it's not forever. There's always another election coming up, the next year or 2 years.
Not North Korea.
That's right. That's right.
It's not Russia.
Yeah. So it's a really important question. And I thank the caller or the emailer for asking the question. But they are free. They are fair. And people need to participate.
Another listener question. Festival Parks contracts have not been renewed. What is the city's intention here?
Yeah, we're still ongoing there, so we're excited to see the activity that's going on there. But I know the attorney's office and the city administrator's office are working with them now, and we're hoping to have a resolution to it soon.
Is that 5K events you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, this is mine.
Okay.
The roads.
The roads, could you be more specific?
The condition of the roads.
Okay.
There are potholes everywhere. And there's not just potholes. Even on Main Street, I'm going down by downtown, and there's mini craters. And when you hit them head on, boom, you're going to bust a tire, an axle, or something. Yeah. Now, I noticed on Main Street from going to South Main Street, from downtown, they're cold patching it all.
Right.
And I hope they continue to do that.
They will. So just to give people a sense of where we are and why it might seem particularly pothole-ridden right now, you may recall we had a lot of snow this year and a lot of salt.
Oh, I understand.
Right?
It, yeah.
And so oftentimes when potholes happen is when you're doing a lot of that snow plowing on ice, that's when some of that pavement will pop up. So as we melt and get out of snow season, spring is the time when you fill those potholes. But if you have specific ones that you think people should know about, please call our Department of Customer Service and make us aware of it. I know the crews are going out right now. Like you mentioned, they're doing South Main Street now. I know they're out there filling those holes in wherever they can. So, but sometimes we don't know about them. So if people have one they're particularly concerned about, please give City Hall a call so we know.
You know what really feels good when you hit a stretch of really nice road when you're traveling?
Yeah.
And there's one on North Main Street. I think it's north of the bridge, but it's like a 2 or 3 block area. It's brand new.
Yeah.
It's like fresh road. Yeah. I love traveling.
Well, and just north of the zoo to Melvin, and that's brand new in that section too. So yeah, you hit that brand new spice. And it's like, it's nice.
And
nice
then ba-boom when it's over.
Well, you need these roads to last for 20 to 25 years. And obviously the first year they're in better shape than the second year. But I'll tell you what, our engineering department, they score every road on a scale of 1 to 100, and then once it gets below a certain score, that's when we know it's time to reconstruct the road. But we try to extend the life of those roads by doing the pothole patches and filling the seals wherever we can. It's a better investment for taxpayers, but it's always a challenge to keep ahead of it, especially if you're coming off a winter with a lot of snow and ice.
I saw the State Street Bridge was up the other day.
Yes.
Because I had to wait at it, so it's working again, or?
Yeah, so that's the bridge there will need, so Wisconsin DOT has come in and said, look, the bridge needs some repairs, some structural repairs. So in the years ahead, they're doing the planning for it now, but in 2027, 2028, there's some repairs that they're going to need to do the bridge structurally to make sure it can handle the weight when people cross, which we want to make sure.
I lost weight, so I don't know. I lost 35 pounds, so I'm doing my part.
You're doing your part to make it safe.
Thank you, Mayor, for coming in.
Glad to be here. And we're off to the State of the Schools address that the superintendent's giving for RUSD. Just want to give a shout out to Racine Unified Schools and all the work that they're doing. As I've said many times, the strength of our city is tied to the strength of our public schools. And so I'm excited to hear what Superintendent Gajewski is going to tell us this morning.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Racine Mayor Cory Mason, and every month, we'll talk to you next month again.
Looking forward to it.